Thanks, Rabbi Aaron Boxed back again. I know my podcast last week was focused on Israel, and it is going to be focused once again on Israel. The situation in Israel has not gotten any better. Not that anyone really expected it to at this point, this quickly, but there's a lot of diplomacy going on. There's a lot of meetings going on, or meetings that are scheduled to happen. Um, and just like every other time there has been any kind of military action, either against or from Israel against its enemies, uh, the Western media has taken to, not all, but some of the Western media outlets have taken to following the information that was given by terrorist organizations. Earlier today, a hospital was bombed, um, and immediately Hamas came out and said that it was the Israelis, that they bombed a Gaza hospital, killing hundreds of people. And just a few hours later, after uh, uh, the information had been able to been researched and Israeli intelligence was able to do an investigation, it was actually determined that this came from Islamic Jihad, who has a tendency to uh, uh, have problems with their bombs, their missiles, their rockets. So, but of course, some of the Western media just went right with what Hamas said and was automatically just turning against the Israelis. Just over a week and a little bit more past one of the worst days in the history of the country of Israel. The worst massacre of Jews since the Holocaust in one day. And yet, 8 days later, 9, 10 days later, whatever it is, Western media goes with information that was not accurate. To quote General David Petraeus, who is a former general, obviously, and also very important military personality and tremendous intelligence, militarily and otherwise. He said, "My money is always going to be with the IDF and their intelligence over Hamas." And that's the way it should be. But I don't want to dwell too much on this one example of poor reporting. I want to talk today about something that I posted on Facebook that was not exactly as uh, um, enjoyed or taken exactly in the way that I had intended for it to take. It was a picture of a history of the land of Israel going back to biblical times, looking at all of the different countries, nations, militaries, mandates, um, all the different kingdoms that were present that ruled over the land of Israel. And the title of the picture was "There Has Never Been a Palestine." And looking back, perhaps I didn't intend. Well, not perhaps. I did not intend for it to come across the way that it came across. I certainly can understand how some people might take that the wrong way. I want to make sure I make myself very clear. I am not taking away the fact that there are non-Israelis, non-Jews living in that area of the world. Whether you want to call it the land of Palestine, the land of Israel and the occupied territories, Israel, the Gaza Strip, and the West Bank, however you want to call it. Yes, I don't mean to take away their history and the generations that have lived there. That was not my intention. My intention was really to prove that the Jews have been in that land for thousands of years. And for an organization like Hamas, or any organization or any people, to suggest that the Israelis, the Jews, shouldn't be there, or that they don't have the right to be there, it's disheartening to say the least. Angering, frustrating also. Israel, that's the land of the Jews. It's been there since, we've got archaeological finds from David and before that show that the Jews have been there. The nation, or the children of Israel, have been there since 2,000, 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, whatever whichever history you're looking at, since the time of the fathers of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, and the mothers, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And, I don't want to take away the importance of the land to the Muslims and the Christians and the Arabs, the Muslim and Christian Arabs that live there as well. They also have a tie to the land. And ultimately, I do believe that a two-state solution is the right way to go. And I hope to God, I pray to God every single day that God will send peace to all of the children of Israel. All the children of Abraham. Muslims, Jews, Christians, we all have a tie to that land. And there's no reason why we can't live there peacefully. Except that the leaders of the Palestinians that live in the Gaza Strip are a terrorist organization using its own people as a shield against any kind of fighting. When you use humans as your shield, what do you expect to happen? I said this last week, and I'll say it again. To quote, I believe it was Golda Meir, who said, "There can't be peace until the Arabs love their children more than they hate us." I want to make it clear also, the majority, I would believe the vast majority of Arabs living in the Palestinian territories do want to have peace. But their leaders do not let them have peace. Israel has tried to get the Palestinians in northern Gaza to go to southern Gaza so Israel can come in and take over Hamas and destroy Hamas. And what happens? Hamas tells the people not to leave so that they can use them as shields, so that they can then blame the Israeli government and Israeli military for killing their own people. But it's so much more than that. Israel supplies water, fuel, energy, and other resources by the millions of tons to the Palestinian people. Hamas doesn't give it to the people. Hamas leaders live in the lap of luxury, while regular people on the street in the Palestinian territories and starving. Israel cuts off the power and electricity and the water to Hamas so that they can go in and do what they need to do, and Hamas then turns around and takes it out on their own people. And, by the way, if God forbid you speak out against Hamas, then you get killed and your family gets killed. I do believe that this is going to end the way it needs to end. I do believe that Hamas will be taken out. I just wonder who is going to be next. I wonder what's going to happen next. I pray for peace. My heart hurts. My head hurts. I pray for peace. That's all I can do right now. Besides send love and support, I pray for peace. We should all pray for peace.